So today is lesson 5. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And before we start lesson 5, let's quickly review what we learned last week. We learned about KP astrology rules. Okay.
Yeah.
So that were 12th house to any house negates the event.
Yep.
This you have to remember. Every time you have to remember, and especially the primary house, if negated, then it causes problem. And second house to any house will support. And this will vary in every life event. And we'll learn more about the variations. But for now, this is the main KP rule. This is a base. And secondly, I also discussed planet is a source, star lord gives main results, and sublord gives a final outcome. This we learned last week. I'll discuss again on it, but just a quick review on what we learned last week. So what
Leena,
else
can you
did
hear
we
me
learn?
okay? Can you hear me okay or not?
Oh, yes, I can.
I completely understand. I remember. I'm really grateful we reviewed the rules. The question is,
Yes.
I have in my mind is when you say the 12th house negates the I remember
Any
the
house,
rules.
any 12th house,
Yeah.
any house will negate the event. For example, if 7th house is the primary house, and if you see 6th house at sublord, that means it is negating the event. So
Yeah.
6th is 12th to 7th. Similarly, if you see 4th house,
Yeah.
4th house, and you see at star lord 5th house is there. So 4th house will negate the event of 5th house, that is childbirth, love affair, and even education, higher education. I'm saying higher education.
But when you say primary house, what do you mean by primary house? Primary house meaning...
house, like primary house means second house is finance. Okay, this is a primary house of finance. 10th house, primary house for career. 6th house, primary house for job. 7th house, primary house for marriage or partnership.
Understood.
And 5th house, primary house for love affair. This is a primary house. So this
Thank
house,
you.
okay. So now let's start with today's class, which is really very important and interesting. Okay. So this is self-significators. Self-significators. Now, self-significators, what is self-significator? And it is also known as untenanted planets. Some people, they have given the term untenanted planets. Even Krishnamurti ji have used this term in his book, the untenanted. What does it mean, untenanted? So he just made a story, while explaining this, like if a planet is in its own nakshatra, like if Saturn is its own nakshatra, Pushya, or Uttara Bhadrapada, own nakshatra. Okay. That means that planet is untenanted. If a planet does not have, is not there in the, as a star lord, then also it is untenanted. So there are certain rules. I've just started. So let me start again. What are self-significators? Untenanted. That means that planet, which you will not see, is present as a star lord. All right. So I'll show you. So today I'll discuss about the self-significators, then about the KP rules part 2. And then as you can see, the 6-step scanning of KP script. So this is also a very important part. And then what is Vimshotri Dasha? Okay. So now let's start. What is self-significators? Because self-significators, you will give some time on this topic because it's really important. And every time you will have to start your analysis with these self-significators. And what are these self-significators? For example, should I show you? Let me show you next slide. Okay. Now you tell me, you have to check all the planets and see, is there any planet which is not present at Nakshatra Lord? Always start from Ketu because the sequence starts from Ketu. Just check. Is Ketu there? From Sun till Ketu. Can you see? No, you cannot see my cursor. Oh, yes. Can you see this cursor now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you have to start with Ketu and you tell me, is Ketu present at Nakshatra Lord from up till here? We can
No,
see it is here. It is here.
Jupiter. Yeah.
Yes. So Ketu is not self-significator. Ketu is rejected. Because
was
it is
that
present
Ketu?
as star, Nakshatra Lord. It is present as star Lord. Whichever planet is present as star Lord, that is not self-significator. It is already present.
Mm-hmm.
Again, now next, after Ketu comes Venus. Venus is also present.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
Sun.
Sun. Sun is there?
Sun,
No.
Sun is not.
Sun is not there. So we will write Sun is self-significator. Just write down SS in your notebook. And underneath the SS, write down Sun. We are considering this horoscope. Sun. Okay. Now let's move to Moon. Is Moon present as
Yes.
Nakshatra Lord? Yes. So Moon is also rejected. Then comes Mars. Is Mars present? No.
No.
So you write down Mars also. Underneath SS, write down Mars.
Yeah.
Now next comes Rahu. After Mars, Rahu comes.
No.
So can you see Rahu? No. Write down Rahu also. Then comes Jupiter. Jupiter is there.
Yes.
Then comes Saturn. Saturn is
Yes.
here. Mercury is not here. So write down Mercury also.
Yeah.
Now this is the first parameter. Like if you don't see any planet, if you don't see any planet in the as a nakshatra lord, that is a self-significator. This is parameter 1. We will consider we have 3 points. So we, according to the first parameter, we have only Sun and then Rahu and then Mercury, Mars also. Okay. Okay. Now parameter 2 is, let's move to second slide. A planet is not in the star of any other planet, like we started. Next point is a planet in its own star. Even that is also self-significators. Okay, so let me go back and explain why it is called self-significator and why it is called untenanted. Can you understand the word tenanted? Tenanted means when a person is staying in someone's house. I have my house. I have 2 houses in my place, and one of my properties I am staying. The other property someone else is using. So he is a tenant.
Yeah.
All right. If I don't give that property to anyone, so I own that property. So I will give the result of that house. If that house has to be maintained, so I will maintain that house. But if someone comes, he will maintain. So this way they have given the word tenanted and untenanted. Untenanted means like one who has to take care of his property on his own. So he is untenanted. So it becomes very strong. Now I have to take care of my own property plus that property also. I have 2 properties now. So
That
only
means
they are called.
that
You
means
got it?
untenanted. That means untenanted.
Untenanted or self-significators, because I'm a significator and I have to take care of my other house also. So I'm self-significator. Now
Leena, you're
I'm
such
all
a
the more
great
very
teacher.
powerful.
You're such a great teacher. Thank you for explaining it. I understand it. Thank you.
Yeah.